Okay, it's setting up. Good. So, hi everybody. I'm just preparing to go live. I'm waiting for my screen. Good. Okay, looks like it's working. Oops, it's not. Okay, there it is. Okay. Wow, what really terrible quality we're having. Okay, whatever. Well, hi everybody. I'm just getting started here. Sorry, it's I look a little disheveled. I was doing yard work. And good night, everybody. Good evening. How is everybody tonight? Thanks for joining me. I'm doing a POTUS report tonight, but there's some other news that I wanted to also share with you. So, hi, Chris. Hi, Phoenix. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, so don't worry if my hair looks a little disheveled, and it's because I was doing yard work and whatever. Who cares, right? So, there's some interesting news that came out. I just want to let you know that I did hear that Robert Mueller has been arrested. And I do not have, I am trying to get other verification on that. So that's not 100% right now, but the source is usually pretty good. But I'm just letting you know that I have heard that, and it's almost 9 o'clock. Tuesday, March 24th. Yeah, I guess I should do my regular introduction. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020, and this is GoldFish Report number 467. This is week 165 POTUS Report. But I have a lot of other things to the flowers, the trees are blooming and everything. I'm really kind of a mess tonight. There's a lot of other things to report on, as I just said. Hi, Cheyenne and Sky and Anthony. I did get a report. I haven't been able to confirm this with other sources yet, but I did get a report that Robert Mueller has been arrested. So we'll see what happens with that. But we all knew that the first arrest was going to be a big one. I was just expecting it to be Obama, but we'll see what happens. He might not really be considered big enough. I don't know. A lot of people have been commenting about Fauci, this head of the CDC, and he hasn't been vibing with a lot of people, and I did find out why today, actually. Here I'm going to go to our Twitter page, and I'm going to screen share. I'm going to screen share a couple of things actually that's related to Q, because I do tie in Q to my POTUS reports. So here is a sample of an email. I hope you can see it. It does look like the broadband is really a stretch here to try to get a good quality, but we'll do our best. Here you see that this is a letter. This is an email to Cheryl Mills. It looks like it's probably one of those WikiLeaks cables, and it's from Fauci to Cheryl, and it says, anyone who had any doubts about the secretary's stamina and capability following her illness had those doubts washed away by today's performance before the Senate and the House. She faced extremely difficult circumstances at the hearings, and still she hit it right out of the park. Please tell her that we all love her and are very proud to know her. Warm regards, Tony, and signed with his professional professional tag here as the director, Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and National Institute of Health. So this is quite interesting, because if we go over to Q post here, we're also going to see something quite interesting, folks. I wanted to bring this to your attention. This is what our president is up against, okay? And this is just amazing, okay? Here we have a clinical microbiology review, right? stated October 27th. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus, emerging and re-emerging infection. So this this has been out for quite a while. It's a SARS CoV. This is has been out for quite a while. Some of the other, the presence of a large reservoir or SARS-CoV-like virus in horseshoe bats, together with the culture of eating exotic mammals in southern China, is a time bomb. It's what he wrote, whoever this was, wrote about in this article. Okay. So let me also screen share something else from this post. Get this other thing. Where did it go? Wait until you see this. Just wait until you see this. There's just, he had made a comment. Is it here? Hold on a second. Where is it? No, there was a comment that the president was going to be experiencing. All right, you know what? I'm just going to go to my other Twitter page, and because I'm pretty sure that I had posted it. So let me just find it real quick. There was a tweet where Fauci was saying the president's going to is going to be confronting a pandemic or a major virus outbreak during his presidency. So this was planned. Obviously, that's what this is implying. I'm just looking for. It's taking a long time to load. It's not my fault, folks. I really don't know what else to do about that. Excuse me. It's not even loading. So let's go back to the Q post and see what else we can learn from this. So this was a very long Q post. I'm going to screen share it for everybody so you can take a look at it. The China virus, worth remembering. Wuhan Institute of Virology. City, province, origin, hot zone, geolocation. Yeah, because they have the first biosafety virology level 4 lab there. So this is where it would have been made. And we talked about this already previously in a GoldFish report over the weekend. Of course, we also know, so here Q's talking about, unbeknownst to Harvard University, beginning in 2011, Lieber became a strategic scientist at Wuhan University of Technology in China, and was a contractual participant in China's 1,000 talent plan from in or about 2012 to 2017. This is the link here to, I hope it's very slow, folks. I really don't know what else to say about this tonight, but it's just very, very slow. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I had published this also on our Twitter and probably also on our Facebook news page. This was from the Department of Justice, and this was about arrests. Like, if you guys think nothing's really happening because it's not being talked about on the Mockingbird CIA media, they're not going to talk about it, not until they're taken over. And that's probably going to be, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot as we speak. The Harvard University professor and 2 Chinese nationals charged in 3 separate China-related cases. So this was the link, one of the links that Q had shared in his post. And if you keep reading the post, if we keep going down, also, which I reported first, to be honest with you, at least in the United States, here is a link to the article, or an article, because we reported on Sunday that India Times had reported that there were 7.3 million cell phone users missing in China, and another 10 million 4G users missing. And here we have now, Q just posted yesterday, the Epoch Times is also reporting 21 million fewer cell phone users in China may suggest a high CCP virus death toll. So this is why, if you need any justification as to why our president is taking the measures he's taking, Let me tell you, he knows and he wants to protect us. And this is exactly what Steve, my co-host Steve, was discussing with me and Dr. Werner on Sunday, early Sunday morning. So interesting that Q did reference this, because where did all the users go? This was reported by well, here it says Beijing authorities, but this was reported by um, China Mobile. And since cell phones are such an integral part of Chinese life there, because it's basically like it's how they monitor the citizens there. It's how they judge you on a social credit system. It's how they monitor who you're talking to, what you're buying, who you're communicating with, where you're going. So they keep a complete watch over you. With your phone, and for all these phones to not have users all of a sudden, well, where did the users go? And I have to tell you, I'm not trying to fear monger, but there's definitely something wrong. Definitely something wrong here. We're definitely not getting the right information out of China for sure. I think we all know that. Let me check in with my live chat. Hi everybody, Diane C. Good to see you. Yeah, Chinese mafia, big bucks in Boston universities. Yeah. So this is big news, quite honestly. And I'm sorry I don't have the one statement uh, where did it go? I had the statement by Fauci regarding what he was anticipating for, what, maybe that's, oh, okay. It might have been on Facebook here. I can't even believe that. Someone just posted a picture of the frazzle drip, which is the image of this child whose face was filleted off by supposedly, allegedly by Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin. The photo was actually shown because there's a reason why all these celebrities that came out and were doing these coded messages on the social media saying that they all had the coronavirus. And the reality was, I spoke with Tiffany Fontenot until like 1:30 this morning, and we were talking about the reverse speech that was coming up. And she did indicate that it looks like, and it appears that, see, it appears that Tom Hanks and his wife went to intercept a stash of adrenochrome. But it looks like it was intercepted, and they didn't get their supply from the reverse speech analysis. I can't confirm this. I'm just going based on Tiffany's work. So I'm trying to look for that reversal. I'm not sure she has that published yet, but I know she has it on Facebook. Whew, boy, let me tell you guys, it's going to be pretty tough. The stuff that's going to come out, the kind of news that's going to come out, it's going to be really kind of rocking for everybody. Just trying to look at look for that. I really want everybody to see what Fauci said about the president. And like, how would he know that he would be, facing a large, viral epidemic? Because he knew because he's part of it, right? He's part of the whole plan, the whole group of people who released it. Okay, I can't find it right now. Unbelievable. I know I just had it. Ah. It's probably right here, right before my eyes, and I'm just not seeing it. So that's the deal. So it is on Twitter. You're going to see it all over the place. It's here it is. It was an email letter. Let me just see if there was anything else. I'm just looking for it, and then I'm just going to keep moving forward. Second letter surfaces. Well, the thing is, I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Okay, excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, let's move along. Hi, King Hacienda. Nice to see you. Diane C., nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's tough looking at all this stuff. It truly is. My allergies. In fact, I'm due to take my allergy medicine right now. Oh my goodness. So exactly, ready for the darkness to come into the light. Let's just review a little bit about what happened in the news conference. Sorry, my hair is a mess. I was doing yard work. I need to really get probably should have waited till tomorrow, but I'm going to be busy tomorrow too. The president said that hardship will be over soon. Protect our Asian people, not their fault. This is spreading. Okay, it's very, very true, right? It's not going to, we don't, not going to let the cure be worse than the problem. Of course, the president said that. He tweeted that. He wants us to remember social distancing. We also have, as he referenced, the Executive Order 4512, Defense Authorization Act. He just signed that. A new executive order, folks, to prevent hoarding of medical supplies, and that includes masks, sanitizers, and like things and other behavior and things like price gouging. So there's going to be pretty severe penalties for people who want to take advantage and exploit this emergency. Okay. Attorney General Barr said that they will be keeping up with law enforcement at the full throttle. Now, take that for what you will. I also heard in some states, like in New Jersey, the governor, the Chief Justice had said that to reduce the spread of coronavirus, that they wanted to release prisoners in the county jails. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see about that. So anyway, that's kind of, at this point, I don't have a new number, but we do know that New York State's starting to get hit very hard. It had its most rapid increase, like 100 new patients, like within 24 hours, or I don't know, maybe it was more than that. But it is starting to spread pretty quickly. So we knew that it would, because it was a 14-day incubation period. So we knew that, we did know that, that was inevitable, actually. I'm just trying to find, let me just, before I get into more of the president's stuff for the week, I want to screen share this, this meme, because we're meme friendly on the GoldFish Report. God help us. We have to have some memes to help us get through all of this, don't we? Here's a little meme for Pepe. Methods. So this is him on Twitter. And it's kind of like, most of us can relate. One of the reasons I wanted to do a live stream at this hour at night was really kind of just, what is everybody doing with their time? What is everybody doing, really? Are you fighting with your family? That's happening. I'm telling you, I'm so stressed out from just all kinds of, it's really more the other people that aren't handling it well, not myself. So I'm doing just fine. Just wish people would leave me alone. And try to deal with their problems and deal with their own issues. That would be really helpful. Okay, so you know what? I'm having problems with things loading up. I really wanted to show you this, the rest of this information, where Fauci said that Trump was going to be hit with an epidemic virus or a pandemic virus or something during his administration. And I'm just kicking myself in the rear end that I can't actually find it for you. But I'm going to keep going because, I don't want to have a stalemate on the live broadcast here. So let's move along. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Tata, and Josh, and Tracy. Nice to see you. So yes, when I find it, I will let you know. I'm telling you, the internet is so bogged down right now. It is very hard for me to go through, especially Facebook. And Facebook really harasses me. I'm telling you, almost every time I go to use Facebook, they make me re-verify my location, re-verify my phone number. Like, they did it several times in one day, and I had already done it. They really are harassing us big time. I don't see that there's any reason to keep doing that, but that's the games that they play. Those are the games that they play. Yeah, it's not loading, so I'm going to just keep going because I'm not going to waste any time. So what I want to do is I want to show you some pictures, photos of the week from the White House for last week, because we didn't get to show them. These are, of course, the president at his news conference, and I'm going to go through it very quickly. You can go to the blog at thegoldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can go check these out for yourself. Folks, let me just say these press conferences are very long and the transcripts for them are very long. I am not going to go through them and read them because they are way too long and it would take up too much time. So if you want to have the transcript, go here and take a look at it at the blog. However, just be prepared that whoever's putting these together, they're not even finishing it. These are long transcripts. I don't know why they're not finishing it, but almost every transcript I'm getting now from the White House, I don't know if it's the poolers, the press poolers, or who it's coming from exactly, but whoever's compiling them are not finishing them. And that's how they're coming from the White House to me. So, it's incomplete, but it's what they gave us. So that's what I published. So that's it. Here's the task force meeting. Here's the president and his task force meeting and at the press conference. Here's the president again with another look at the press room, which, I've had the privilege of being in and reporting from. So, it's kind of, uh, a little nostalgic. I want to go back there, but certainly want to make sure we're clear of this. Here we have very good pictures here, of course. They're doing conference calls with other members of the team in the Situation Room. And here's more, photos of those press conferences. I'm just going to go through it really quickly because you can go take a look at these for yourself. And of course, it's springtime in DC, and what a lovely, lovely picture with the cherry blossoms in the Rose Garden at the White House. That's just a lovely, lovely picture right there. Here's some more of that. Isn't that lovely? And some birds. Oh, Andrea Hanks. So she caught some birds here. Oh, look at that. And they're talking to each other. That's so sweet. Look at those two birds. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful White House picture. Isn't that lovely? I hardly saw that before, actually. So we'll just keep going. There's more of these, more of the team here, and the president briefing with nurses on the coronavirus response. So the president's trying to get advice and feedback from what's going on the ground in terms of hospitals and nursing and so forth. We have, of course, this big bill, this coronavirus spending bill, relief bill, I should say, that's being held up, as you know, by the Democrats as usual. I mean, aren't we all getting sick of this already? Ugh, just sick of it. They have to put the country first. No, they want all their pork barrel, slush projects in there. Look, folks, I mean, this isn't a time to be doing things like that. But here we have the president, joined by Vice President Mike Pence and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, signs H.R. 6201, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, on Wednesday. But they just have to get to agreeing on the contents and stop with all the pork barrel. Okay, so anyway, as you know, the president announced that FEMA is in control of this at this point in terms of administering aid to all the different states. There's I would say, hierarchy that now the states have to go through, that we have to go through, in fact, in order to get aid and reimbursement. The president is looking out for us. He's looking out for small businesses who have been, affected by whose businesses had to close and have been impacted by, the closure of their business. Here we also have, that's a strange looking photo, to be honest. It looks like the guy at the end here is in a hologram. It's really funny. Okay. Speaks to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp during a video teleconference. Yeah, it looks like it. That's weird. That just looks weird. Okay, go to the, there's the president. We know he's the president. Look at that. He's got a sign. He's got a name card, the president. We know he's the president, and he is the most qualified wartime president. This is, hands down. And make no mistake, as he had said, this is a silent enemy. And that has more than one meaning, folks. We're not just talking about the virus. We're talking about something that's been bioengineered to kill people, quite honestly. And it's doing that. And this is really war. This isn't an actual declaration of war, but we're mobilizing our country as if a war has been declared. A national emergency has been declared. They went into continuity of government protocols from the military. So it's like, yeah, we are at war. This is wartime behavior, folks. Totally. All right. So just go here, take a look at the rest of the pictures. They're obviously very busy working. We thank them very much for doing this. I just want you to know, though, that the president, that there's 74 actions taken by President Trump to fight the virus and bolster the economy. And you know what? I am not going to list them all, but there's huge numbers underneath different categories. But I will screen share them for everybody, just so you can get a glimpse. And if you can take a screenshot, feel free. This is published by the Washington Examiner, and they compiled this list. So, and it's very impressive. Okay. So here you have whole of government response, and you have a whole bullet point list under this. The travel restrictions, you have a whole bullet point under this. If you want to know what these are, you can go back to the recording of this, and you can view this again if you'd like to. Expanding test accessibility, and he's got a whole bullet list there. Supporting impacted businesses, and he's got a bullet list there. Helping families and working Americans, has a long bullet list under there, and in addition to $100 million in dislocated worker grants in response to the coronavirus national health emergency. Oh, did you hear that, folks? Informing the public, he's got a bullet list under there. Supporting patients and healthcare providers, another bullet list. This is 74 items, folks. Strengthening essential medical supplies and developing vaccines and therapeutics. Look at this list. If you think, this is why you really can't reason with a Democrat. You can't reason with a liberal who they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. They, hi Sherry, hi everybody. Nice to see you all. I didn't mean to ignore you. I was just on another, hi Tata. I was on another screen, so I couldn't see everybody. But is our president not the most amazing wartime president you've ever seen? I want to see your comments in the chat, because I think he's doing an amazing, amazing job. And his whole team is too. He's got a great team of people behind him helping him as well. So let's continue. Let me just see which one I'm going to go to next. I'm going to go through this very quickly. I'm not going to go through all the details. So let's go through this. So Saturday, there was a bill announcement which clarifies the Department of Veterans Affairs should treat in-person courses of study that convert to distance learning formats due to health-related situations and other emergencies. Okay, so the president reports on that. Yeah, there wasn't actually that much on that day. Let me close the screen and go to the next window. I have to do it that way, or sometimes it doesn't screen share. Okay, so here the president approved the California disaster declaration. Okay, this has to do with the coronavirus, of course. This is also, the federal funding is also making crisis counseling available for people affected in the area, whatever. Maybe not because of the disease, but maybe because of just all the changes. And I think there's also, I have to tell you, I also saw photos of, and I did not take them myself, but I did retweet them. I saw photos of, I did retweet, what was it? They were white caskets, like stacked up on a flatbed truck going through California. And I did see another photo of, and again, it's kind of it's a pretty reliable source that I got this from, and I retweeted that there were mobile morgues being set up in a suburb, actually in a farm area outside of Chicago. So I don't know, folks. Looks like, they're definitely planning. Everybody does believe this is a deliberate attempt by the cabal to not only fulfill its Agenda 2020, a depopulation agenda, but also to take down President Trump and interfere with the election for 2020, crash the economy, and like they think they have a chance in hell to win. This president is so prepared for this. He is so well studied and he is so well prepared that they're not going to uh, they're not going to catch him unprepared. He is really the Sun Tzu master, and you can see that by how he is handling this emergency. Absolutely. We also have a disaster declaration for Washington, which has also been a kind of a disaster there with regard to the spreading of the virus as well. This was the report that we did on Sunday, why POTUS has no other choice with Scott Werner, why he's doing exactly what he had to do. And we cited that article from India Times, which now Q is, I guess, who was it? Who picked it up? Who was it that picked it up? The Epoch Times picked it up. 21 million cell phone accounts in China may suggest a high um, CCP virus death toll. There's more to this too. There's much more to that Q post that I didn't go into, but they definitely wanted to try to take down. It was another coup, they're saying, and they're not going to succeed. And then, of course, there's a few other posts from Q as well, talking about this bill that they're not passing because they want to have this ballot harvesting to coronavirus bill. They want to have this anonymous. This is to prevent, you know, well, it's trying to prevent their destruction, but that's going to happen anyway. I don't think people see through what they're doing, so they're not fooling anybody anymore. They've lost that advantage. They can't hide in the dark anymore because the light, it's all coming to light and everybody sees what they're doing. So what's going on is that they're trying to not have accountability for, have anonymous people send in, any number of ballots, and not have it could have one person send 1,000 in under fictitious names, and who knows who they really are. It's kind of crazy. So let's just keep moving along here on this one. So go check out that GoldFish report from the weekend, because it does have a lot of information in it. And we go through real live videos, or not live, but I mean recorded videos of testimony from people in China talking about what's really happening on the ground, how there's this ominous smog hanging over the city from the, unimaginable number of cremations going on. Just these people are working in these uh, funeral homes in Wuhan and in the Hubei province. They are absolutely working them almost literally to death. I mean, these people are so exhausted that, according to one report, the people just kind of, they were cremating so many bodies every day that they just had no rest, and they were working them 12, hours, sometimes 24. I mean, they would have only a few hours rest. These people were exhausted, as well as the healthcare workers in Wuhan, trying to treat and help the victims there. They were basically, I don't want to go over the whole report. You get the idea. You can go watch that, but it was very compelling. We had Dr. Scott Werner on, who was talking about that this was a recombined virus. This was definitely genetically engineered, genetically modified, or biohazard. And I also had a report by a person who was in the hospital saying that if you tested positive for coronavirus, they set up a hazmat area. You had to go through a hazmat area. Now, if anybody knows anything about triage, you know that hazmat is a very specific way to triage. They have to have certain, water. They have to have this scaffolding of pipes so that the water can come down and wash you and cleanse this hazardous material off of you. You take all of your gear off inside this like tub kind of thing that's made, a makeshift tub that you take your gear off in. Everything is done, as if it's hazardous material. So it does point to this being like a biological agent. So yeah, the global financial reset, well, let's just put it to you this way. We're going to have the crash first, folks. How bad is it going to be? I don't know. But you really do need to go and prepare. I think you really do need to make sure you support that Second Amendment. And I don't need to say anything else. I think you can read between the lines. Okay. So read between the lines on that now. Because let me tell you something, supply is running out. In my local supermarket, they have run out of nearly all the food. They had a little bit stocked today, but everybody's waiting for it to be refilled. So it can't serve everybody, right? So the problem is that the supply is going to be interrupted, and maybe for a while. And I know some people say in their areas it's not a problem. Sherry, I'll send you a list, a shopping list for me, and have you send it to me because Sherry says that her supermarkets are fine where she is. And there may be some places that are fine because some people, may be already well prepared. But in the tri-state area, New York tri-state area, let me tell you, it's the most densely populated area of the country. So naturally, it's not that people are hoarding. There's a few who probably are, but it's that everybody had needs to stock up at the same time, and there just simply wasn't enough food. So, what we don't want to have happen is we don't want people to be held up, at their cars for food. So I'm just going to tell you, get yourself prepared, stay home, and, protect yourself as much as you possibly can. There's people in different states, different rural areas who can, like in Arizona, you can open carry. In other states, you can conceal carry. But in this tri-state area, boy, you better be a retired police officer if you're planning on carrying that around, because they just will not give you a concealed carry around this area. But honestly, folks, I mean, what I was saying to someone the other day? I was saying, if you prepare for the worst, then then you will be ready for anything. So if you prepare for a worst case scenario, you'll be prepared. I think we need to be realistic about this economy and the crash that's going to happen, because we don't really know how quick the turnaround is going to be, right? Hi, Slim, how are you? Yeah, we don't know how quick the turnaround is going to be to rebuild the economy. I'm sure, and I have so much faith in our president, that this is what he's here to do, among other things. But I think he's a master at this, and I don't think we're going to be suffering too much. That's why he wants to get this stimulus bill going, and he wants the Democrats to stop playing, to stop. The Democrats will never let a crisis go to waste, will they? They really don't. They'll never let a crisis go to waste, and they'll exploit it as much as they possibly can, which is what they're doing in Congress right now by not agreeing and passing this bill. They want things that have nothing to do with the coronavirus. Nothing whatsoever. So I don't think that's really reasonable. Okay, so let's move along. Let's go and yeah, here we go. So here's the president talking about not tolerating price gouging, as we were just talking about a minute ago, right? So the president will not tolerate the price gouging and hoarding of critical supplies needed to combat the coronavirus. And every American has a role to play in defending our nation from this invisible, horrible enemy. Quote by President Trump. Sorry, I needed some water for a minute there. Okay. Preventing and punishing hoarding and fraud. So the president is taking action to prevent the hoarding and price gouging of critical supplies needed to combat the coronavirus. And he's also got companies who is it, Honeywell, or I don't remember the company. It might say in here. He has companies that are helping expedite the manufacturing, which, under the Defense Production Act, which he also enacted. He has companies that are prioritizing the need that the government has for this emergency for masks and respirators and emergency protection and things like that. Yeah, and it quotes it right here too. So the president is signing an executive order providing the authority to address, if necessary, hoarding that threatens the supply of necessary health and medical resources. This includes the action of hoarding unnecessary quantities of items for the purpose of selling them above the fair market value. This action is authorized under the Defense Production Act, which allows the president to prohibit the hoarding of needed resources. To implement the order, the president has delegated to the Department of Health and Human Services the authority to designate scarce resource or resources, the supply of which would be threatened by hoarding. So you can go here and read all about this, but again, it's also about making sure that our first responders, here he says, this action will help ensure that hospitals, first responders, and doctors receive sufficient supplies of critical medical equipment. Just because they're on the front line of this doesn't mean they should be at risk. So they're there to try to help people, and they do not need to be risking their life to do it. So let's make sure they get what they need to help us. So the president is bringing every resource, power, and authority necessary to defeat the coronavirus. There's a whole list of things. You can go back after the video because we're live. So you can go back and watch the uploaded video, and you can scroll through this because I want to kind of try to keep this a little shorter tonight. Securing vital resources. Today's action builds on the extraordinary measures that the president has already taken to ensure that America has the resources it needs to fight the virus. President Trump and his administration have taken extraordinary steps to help states, hospitals, frontline healthcare workers, and first responders procure the equipment they need. So I don't really want to belabor this. I mean, it's just kind of repeating things. Also, the administration has also partnered with the private sector, as I just mentioned, to increase the speed and availability of diagnostic tests, implement new therapeutics, and find a vaccine. And folks, when it comes to the vaccine, I just have to tell you, I think there's enough evidence out there in order to question the safety of the vaccines, the actual safety of them. So that's enough said there. Here is the executive order, and this is exactly what the president was talking about. This is going to be published in the National Register, and which officially it always will be. And so you can take a look at this here. We kind of should prevent hoarding too, in terms of for the public. There's a lot of people. I see people buying caseloads of toilet paper to resell it to people on eBay or on it's just not right. You can't do stuff like that. It's one thing to be an entrepreneur, but it's another thing to exploit an emergency, and we don't need that kind of behavior during an emergency. So here, Americans need help, and Democrats must stop blocking it. This is really the big news right now. So state Republicans are ready to send the relief bill to the president's desk. Instead of joining them, Democrats voted it down. Their leaders are demanding a litany of partisan line items, pork, of course, that have nothing to do with fighting the coronavirus or saving our economy. What she wants is audits of election results. She wants airline carbon emissions. She wants corporate diversity requirements, collective bargaining for federal workers, expansion of wind and solar credits. This has nothing to do with coronavirus aid. And she, again, pork. They just want to put as much pork in there as they possibly can. So with these demands, Democrats in Congress aren't trying to rescue our country. They aren't trying to rescue our economy. They're trying to rescue their partisan agenda. And that's very, very clear. And they're willing to hold America hostage to do it. Yeah. I loved how they were saying, as one senior Democrat reportedly put it, this relief bill is a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision. I have to screen share a tweet with everybody because um, someone someone had a tweet yesterday that really kind of summed this up, and I retweeted it, and I thought it was just brilliant. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh my gosh, guys, it took so long for this thing to load. Let me just show you the Twitter post that I was talking about. Let me see. Yeah, this is him. No doubt Trump will face surprise infectious disease outbreak. Fauci, right? This is January 11th, 2017. Oh, what does he have? A crystal ball? Yeah, we know exactly what kind of crystal ball he has. No doubt Donald J. Trump will be confronted with a surprise infectious disease outbreak during his presidency. Folks, there's no such thing as coincidence here. Are you kidding me? This guy is as much of a deep state shill as Hillary Clinton is. Come on. Because you saw his love letter to Hillary Clinton, so you already know that. Fauci said the Trump administration will not only be challenged by ongoing global health threats such as influenza and HIV, but also a surprise disease outbreak. This is it. Look at that. Oh, this is too much. Too much. What does everybody think about that? Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? Hmm? Does anybody notice? Oh, I'm telling you, it's hard not to get triggered these days. It's really hard not to. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry. Just one second. I'm trying to find yeah. Okay. Just to put this into context a little bit, this is what the president is trying to accomplish with this bailout. Bailout of Postal Service debt, climate change study, and retirement plans for community newspapers. 35 million for JF. No, this is not what the White House is trying to do. I'm sorry. This is what the Democrats are trying to do. I just happened to tweet it in the wrong order. Sorry. Pelosi and the Democrat leaders held coronavirus relief hostage for. Sorry. Let me correct this because I didn't tweet it in the right order. Audits of election results, airline emissions offsets, corporate diversity requirements, collective bargaining for federal workers, $25 million for congressional salaries and expenses, folks, really? Expanded wind solar credits, bailout of Postal Service debt, climate change study. Really? That's such a biggest waste of money. Pork barrel spending. This is what this is. Oink oink, folks. Retirement plans for community newspapers. 35 million for the JFK Performing Arts Center. Really? 300 million for Public Broadcasting Corporation. And you know what? If you're a Democrat watching this, you have to start questioning your party. You have to start questioning the leadership because they don't even know their name half the time. I mean, Sleepy Joe, he's just kind of a joke at this point. There can't be an election. He's not even cognitively fit. There can't be an election. They don't have a candidate that's not mentally, impaired. Oh, please give me a break. All right, I'm getting triggered. It's so obvious. Like, here's Biden. He can't even stop touching his face in an interview at the View appearance, right? He can't stop touching his face. Aren't we not supposed to touch our face? We can hold it back, right? Oh my God. So this is crazy. Let me see what else. Yeah, and you know what? Here also, PSC&G pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter for starting the campfire in California. Look at that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we know what a directed energy weapon looks like. Okay, this is not exactly what they're telling you, but anyway, we have 8 days to go. Lovely Tiffany Ariana Trump reminded us today that we're 8 days to go now, and that we're all doing really great to do our part to slow down the spread of this virus. So we're all doing a great job. I think everybody's doing a great job. I really haven't heard too many problems and reports of problems. There are obviously going to be some, but I think for the most part, everybody gets this. So, I'm just so glad Tiffany reminded us what day we're on, because it's always good to have that, you know, that number in mind, because we're all counting down, right? But we'll see what happens. I mean, it could be extended. We don't know. The president today said he would like to reopen everything again by Easter. So we'll see. We'll see. If we're ready for that. But we will report about that here on the GoldFish Report, as you know. Um, yeah. Part 8, grants for conducting risk limiting audits of results of elections. So this is what the Democrats want, right? Yeah, you can tell they're really focused on the crisis at hand, like this Twitter person says exactly. Yeah. So we each have a civic responsibility to our families and to our country. The more fiscal control we show at the kitchen table, the better our ability to handle the next crisis is. Well, let me just tell you, folks, that, or these politicians, that there's a lot of people who aren't doing so good and weren't doing so good, even though you say you're in a great economy. Not everybody invests in the stock market. We knew it was a bubble, and we knew it was going to come down sooner or later. So, it hasn't been good for everybody, have to tell you that. So there was a report that some guy died from this chloroquine, that, since the president had recommended, of course, that the liberal media is going to attack the president for making that statement. And somebody ingested chloroquine phosphate, which is an aquarium cleanser. So it says not for human consumption right on here. Who knows what that all was all about, folks? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Here's another one. Document Cloud, John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, which we already talked about. They want $35 million. I mean, come on. What pork? What a pork barrel that is, right? Oink oink. Unbelievable. So I don't know. There was another article I was going to share with you. Sorry, I can't find it. So I don't want to. I just want to finish up the stories from the president today. Sorry about that. And yeah, I guess that was it. What I wanted to show you there. Yep. Okay. And then now, now for this one, I think everybody's going to have. Hi, everybody. I know, Sherry. I'm telling you, it's like, well, you know what? This is what it's like working in the media, and especially when there's breaking news, you have to really want to be there to report it, especially because the mainstream media is going to spin it how they want to spin it. But we're going to report it the way it is, the way the president intends it, or we're going to do our best to report it. We have people who not only can come on from other countries of the world, but who can also translate, and who can be boots on the ground in other places and give us information too. So, the GoldFish Report has worked very hard to have, global, a global presence, not just within the United States. So, but honestly, Sherry, I mean, I'm surprised I'm not doing more live streams, because what is everybody else doing? All right. I was doing yard work, which is why I look a little bit disheveled, but it's a little bit late. What's everybody else doing? I mean, I'm curious to know what you're all doing to kind of keep yourself occupied, and, during this shutdown, because, it's it can definitely drive everybody crazy. All right, now I'm going to screen share something, folks, and don't, get too postal about it. But the president last night signed into law Senate Bill 893, which is the Secure 5G and Beyond Act of 2020. The act requires the president to develop and implement a strategy for the adoption of secure wireless communication technology in the United States and abroad. The strategy will protect the American people from security threats to telecommunication networks and 5G technology. Oh man, we have to have another conversation about 5G. I think there's different bands, there's different hertz frequencies that operate in 5G that are safer than others. I don't know the specifics. I did do a special GoldFish report on this with Miles Johnston. He didn't seem to think, he's an electrical engineer, and he didn't seem to think that it was safe at all. So we'll see. I can't imagine the president's going to implement something that's going to literally, fry us. But I have to say, this has been coming up um, in reverse speech, and also Tiffany tends to think that. Well, I'll go into a little bit more. She's got something called the hive net. She has these fibers, I guess, that came, the Morgellons, right? And she feels like she's connected to some kind of experimental technology from the deep state, right? Something like that. Or maybe from others, maybe not just deep state. Who knows who it is, right? And she does get messages and information about things, and they are talking about um, like frying people. I don't know. This isn't good. So just follow her reversals and follow her page, Tiffany Fontenot, and also what's her? Here's her page, Our Still Small Voice. Okay, it's ourstillsmallvoice.com. This is her page for her reverse speech analysis. It's separate and different from the HiveNet information she gets, but definitely you can also follow her. Her name's Tiffany Fontenot. You can follow her on Twitter. So I'm sorry, Twitter or Facebook. So let's just go into this a little bit. There's another law that he signed along with this. Okay, so let's just read this little. As part of the strategy, Section 4 of the Act purports to require the president to engage in international diplomacy in order to share information and pursue policy goals specified by the Congress. Consistent with longstanding constitutional practice, my administration will treat the relevant provisions of this section in a manner that does not interfere with the president's exclusive constitutional authorities with respect to foreign relations, including the president's role as the sole representative of the nation in foreign affairs. Section 5 of the Act further purports to condition the president's authority to implement parts of the strategy upon the approval of the Federal Communications Commission. My understanding is that this provision does not preclude me or future presidents from exercising our constitutional authorities as the sole organ of the nation in foreign relations and as the head of the unitary executive branch to ensure proper implementation of the entire strategy. Now, we had Austin Steinbart come out today, who says he's baby Q, and he's talking about, and I am not going to get into a debate with people about whether he's Q or not, or baby Q rather. I'm not going to get into a debate. I'm entitled to say, hey, let's look at this guy. Let's hear what he has to say, because what he says is what everybody else is talking about in terms of, defeating the deep state. Is he a DIA agent? Probably. And is he working on operations right now? Probably. And what he said is that the military is going to be taking over the internet, basically, which which would, I guess, which would be a way that the president could fulfill this, because we also know that the heads of, who was it? The head of the two guys who created Google, they both stepped down, didn't they? So let me just find that. I think I retweeted that. Where did it go? It's probably one of my more recent retweets. That's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. And they need to step down so that we can, they can stop censoring and controlling the narrative. Let me see. I'm looking for it real quick to see if I can find it. For everybody. I'm not finding it. Okay. It's definitely around Twitter though, and you can even find it on Facebook. Yeah, you can even find it on Facebook. So, sure. Let me see if I can find it on Facebook real quick. Now, so let me just finish with this, and then we're going to be done for tonight, everybody. I'm just surprised I'm not doing more live streams, because what else is there to do for everybody, right? So President Trump is standing up for working families in this crisis, while Democrats in Congress stall on economic relief for American workers and businesses. The president is standing up for all those affected by this global pandemic. You know, it almost seems like they really have a wish to destroy the United States. And you know what? They do. So, you know, there's nothing they can do to win in November. There's nothing they can do. Honestly. I mean, you have to have a candidate, at least one, that doesn't have dementia. Come on. It's ridiculous. So today, President Trump and Vice President Pence held a virtual town hall with Fox News from the White House. While answering questions from citizens, the president put Democrat leaders on notice. Stop holding Senate negotiations hostage for a partisan wish list that has nothing to do with coronavirus or protecting our economy. And why not? It's just that's politics as usual, isn't it? Well, President Trump is a new sheriff in town, and it's not politics as usual with POTUS, that's for sure. Here you had Nancy Pelosi and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer were putting their donor base first. They want a relief package that has nothing to do with the workers. That had to do with an agenda they've been trying to get passed for 10 years. Okay, so this is what's going on. You can come to the blog, to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com, and check this out. As you know, the tax day has been moved from April 15th to July 15th. Isn't that lovely? You have to already love him because of that. Even if you're a Democrat, you just have to love him for that, okay? He paved the way for lower interest disaster loans to help small businesses. President partnered with America's top tech companies to unleash supercomputing resources to fight the virus. I know. Have to click on that link and find out what more that's about. So he's signed an order to prevent the hoarding and price gouging of crucial supplies, approved multiple major disaster declarations for impacted areas. And he hasn't missed a beat, has he, folks? He hasn't missed a beat. And he's got a team that he's put together that's handling these issues, and the issues that come up, the new things that come up. And here's links on this page too, on our blog, how to protect the most vulnerable, an explainer on social distancing. Donating blood is safe. Please contribute. And if you feel sick, stay at home. And here's the picture of Bill Hemmer and the president, and also the Surgeon General Adams and Dr. Birx in the Rose Garden today. And that was this virtual town hall. So, yeah, I know that place well. So here we have the West Wing reads, which is talking about the whole issue again with the Democrats. I'm not going to go through it. Here's that list of 74 actions taken by Trump to fight the virus. So you can click on that link too, or you can just go, you can wait for this video to re-upload, and then you can screen share it, but it's probably easier just go to the blog and click on the link, right? So they are blocking, the Democrats are blocking a $2 trillion coronavirus spending bill. And, we need to hold them accountable. It's our job to do that. Ultimately, folks, we're the check and balance. That's how it's supposed to work here. So we definitely need to do our part. Here's another press conference, and because it is so long, folks, I'm not even going to screen share scrolling it because it's so long, but I'm not going to go into the details of the press conference because they're so long. They don't even have the entire transcript published. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the press poolers doing that. They're not completing them. And I did message Dan Scavino about it today to let them know that they're being published without even being completed. I mean, literally it stops in mid-sentence. So that's really unusual. But again, these are very long news conferences, and I'm hoping that they're going to shorten them because we don't need all these people up there at every news conference, like Fauci, the trader. We don't need him up there every single time they have a news conference. I don't think, it's like, really, things can be summed up. If you have questions, you could take questions, but not everybody has to go up there and speak, because there's really, because what's going to happen. That the fake news media is going to antagonize the president, delay the Ask stupid questions, ask irrelevant questions, ask questions to try to make the president look bad or make him look like he's not doing the right thing for this situation. So it's just a waste of time, because they waste their time. They waste the president's time and everybody else's time. So that's why we need to get me back at the White House. That's for sure. And I'm going to ask the right questions. And that's it, folks. So it looks like that's what I've got for you tonight. Let me just check in with everybody and see how you're doing. Thank you very much, Damon. I appreciate that. What's everybody? Yeah, we got to take down those smart meters. I agree with you. Definitely. Weekend Warrior. Yeah, I will. His video coordinates with Austin Benjamin. Yeah. Well, everybody, a lot of people can coordinate. Austin, I think, is still very much doing ops right now. Even on his channel, he's doing ops. There's stuff going on. So, and there's a lot of ops going on. I think we've seen. You know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to find. Oh, here. Okay. Here's the photo of all these. You know what? I'm going to. Darn, just 1 second. I got to redo the screen share on this. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is a photo. This is a video of all the cell phones, or not all of them, but I mean, because we're talking about what, 20 million or 10 million, right? 17.5 million. Let's take a look. Sorry, that was really loud. Look at all these cell phones. These were of the people who were cremated in Wuhan, right? Because, if they recovered, they'd have their cell phone, wouldn't they? Look how they're using shovels to scoop up all these mobile phones. Now in China, your mobile phone is like almost inextricably linked to you, almost like a thumbprint. You know what I mean? Because that's what they use to track you, monitor you. They get your social credit score based on your behavior. They follow you where you go. So these phones are an integral part of the communist China society, right? And so to not have these phones, you can identify every person who is killed. And I say killed because they all didn't die. They a lot of them were just, there were reports that people were, people were even burned alive. Look at all these phones. Can you look at that? Look at that, folks. I mean, I thought at first, the first time I saw this, I thought it was like, fish on the edge of a shore, but I couldn't see it very well. Now you can see it. It's definitely very clear what it is. Let me just see why we're there, folks, if you can. Yeah. Okay, here it is. This is the farming area of Chicago. These are mobile morgues. What is this all about, folks? Look at that. It says here, mobile morgue trailer. What are they expecting? Oh, I hope not. I really, really hope not. But I don't have a confirmation on the day that photo was taken, or even, it is in English, so it's not, delivered in China. But, we'll see, folks. Maybe it is. What is that? Those were mobile morgues. Yes. And, what I'll do is I'll even screen share another photo that I took, sorry, that I retweeted. That's not the right page. Sorry. Hold on. Let me get the page up first. Yeah. Okay. This one had the photo of the caskets. Yeah, I can see it actually. This one has the photo of the caskets in California, right? So what's this all about, folks? This was in California. Oh, it looks like a screenshot. Dabu was reporting on this because I see him down here in the right corner. Maybe he got a hold of it. I don't know. What's going on here? What are these white coffin casket looking things? Plastic caskets? Oh, and then of course we see the president signing that 5G order, right? Or signing that law, which, gee, I didn't even realize was being debated on right now. I don't remember hearing any debate on it. Interesting, but whatever. So, yeah, it's stuff we have to really pay attention to, mobile morgues. The heck is that? So lots of stuff. Definitely come to our and here it is. Here's the link that was also cited on the Q post here about the Harvard University professor and two Chinese nationals who were arrested. So we know at least Fauci's up to no good. So yeah, they're derailing this coronavirus bill. So, folks, this is it for tonight. I just want to thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I didn't want to make Friday night like really. I don't think they're scare tactics. It could be. It could be. I don't know. Those look like vaults that caskets are placed in. I don't know. Could be. It could be. But we're just asking the question. So we do need to ask. We just have to ask, more specifically, what is this? What's going on, right? So this is the deal. Yeah, free internet for all. Yeah, and then, I know the idea of free internet for all is great, but at what's the health expense? How safe is it? Right? How safe is it? Is it safe? And could it possibly kill all of us? Look, folks, we got to ask these questions. We have to. We have to ask those questions. So, look, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. It's getting late now, and I do appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed this midweek POTUS report. We'll be back on Friday night to do our weekly POTUS report. I just don't like to make them so long on Friday night, so I like to do some on a midweek, and this is Tuesday evening. So I usually do it like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and tomorrow I'm going to be busy, so I didn't want to rush it. So I'm glad I got this in. This is what's going on. Our president is very well equipped and prepared to handle this emergency. I think you'll all absolutely agree with me. I think that it's outrageous to think that the Democrats are blocking and stonewalling on this relief bill that everybody needs right now, because they don't want the economy to do well. They don't want people to be able to go and buy food when they didn't have the chance or the foresight to prepare and stock up. Not everybody has a bunker in their house with stocked up food. Okay, that's not everybody. There's a lot of people. There's 8 million people living in New York City. How much food can they prepare? Can they have stocked up? So I think we have to help each other. Definitely be mindful and be considerate of other people at this time who might not have supplies, and ask people, please check on the elderly and make sure they have what they need. We just need to be good stewards. We need to be the good Samaritan right now, and check in on some people. Even call your local police department and see if there's any elderly who. There's always public housing in just about every town, so you can ask them if they know of any elderly people in public housing that might need some help, who are alone and don't have relatives there to help them. So that would be a nice thing to do. I think it would be a very good and helpful as a good Samaritan thing to try to do. So everybody, thank you for joining me so much. Good to see you, Slim. God wins. Yeah, we have to trust the plan because you know in God we trust. Actually, I trust God. I guess that's what we'll have to say. In God we trust. So if that's part of the plan, then we trust the plan too. So everybody have a great night. Um, I'm sure I'm going to be back, doing another live stream, just kind of checking in to see what everybody else is doing, um, and to see if, just to give people a place to kind of congregate and talk about, how they're coping with this and what challenges they're facing. Maybe people are going stir crazy. If you are playing the game of Monopoly, I'm sure somebody's already had a fight. Because that's pretty much what happens every time you play Monopoly, right? So everybody have a really great night. It was really great to be with you all, and I will be back with more. And if there's anything breaking, I'll be back with that. And I'll try not to come and do reports after doing yard work because I know I look a little disheveled here. So everybody have a great night. And this concludes this edition of the Goldfish Report. Thank you so much for joining me in the live chat. I do appreciate you being here, and I do enjoy you being here. So we'll see you again soon. Thanks.